Hello, and welcome to Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo.
I'm Nick.
Another great week, another great episode coming at you. We are back with episode 98 of Pressing Buttons. It's good to be back. We're going to roll right into some news. First big thing we're going to talk about is Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws, for those that are unfamiliar, is a big single player action game that's being developed by Ubisoft. You're going to be able to basically play the role of a bounty hunter. It's set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. There was a trailer at the Game Awards last year. They just released a story trailer recently, showing off some of the syndicate factions, some outlaw factions that are going to be part of the world, and kind of some story beats and stuff like that. It's looking pretty good. Like, I'm not the craziest biggest fan of the Star Wars universe, but I do enjoy these type of games, especially these that have to do with bounty hunting and stuff like that. The ones that kind of get away from being a Jedi, I think I enjoy those more because you're able to explore this big galaxy and all that stuff. So the game is looking good. The story's looking good. But as with any Ubisoft game that they kind of want to deliver, there's always a little bit of hiccups or just things that kind of rub people the wrong way. And two big things on this one is one, that the game will require an internet connection to install. It isn't too big because there have been games before that have done that. You only really need that one install at the beginning, and then you don't really need to be online and have an internet connection after that. The other one, which is the one that I think that's more surprising, is that there's some exclusive missions that are kind of locked behind the paywall of the different editions. You have your standard editions, which is $70, which is the normal rate going these days, and then the deluxe edition is going to be $110, and then that one's going to have a Jabba the Hutt kind of exclusive mission. And this obviously has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I think the main reason for this is obviously with games these days, there's always that extra content, and the fact that you're basically locking this content behind the regular edition of the game instead of, let's say, releasing it down the road as DLC. I think is the big part of it, but also it's not big enough, I think, to be DLC. Otherwise, they would have just saved it for DLC. So that's kind of like the double-edged sword. It does remind me of Destiny, and not just because we're going to talk about Destiny stuff a little bit later on, but just for the fact that when they signed a lot of exclusivity with PlayStation before they were bought by Sony and they were owned by Activision, or they were independent, they always had these exclusives that would only be released on PlayStation, and then you wouldn't get them on Xbox until like 6 months later or whatever the amount of time was. But very, very shady business practices. Ubisoft, I know you're not a big fan of them, Nick. You always got something to say about them. I'm a
Hate their
semi
guts.
Yeah, I'm a fan of them. I love their games. I do think they kind of go overboard in certain things, but would love to hear your thoughts on this type of monetization for their game. And do you think this is something that's going to be kind of the standard going forward with any future games that other companies might adapt?
I certainly hope not. Yeah, no, I think this was inevitable when they showed the first trailer. I think generally speaking, everyone's like, "Wow, like that looks incredible." It's finally like a proper bounty hunter game based in the Star Wars universe, which I certainly have been wanting for a very long time. I would have liked it to actually be Mandalorian, but it's fine that it's not like
That game is canceled.
yeah, that game got canceled. That was
The first person
the FPS.
Yeah,
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 yeah. From Respawn, I think it was
yeah.
yeah. Damn,
Gone,
man, that would have been
gone too soon.
damn. Yeah, I think they announced it and canceled it within like a 2 or 3 week
Yeah.
period. So that's
Video games, am I right?
that's tough. Yeah, that's tough. So yeah, so again, it was first trailer. That looks amazing. Too good to be true. What is Ubisoft going to do to fuck it up? And I think we're starting to see some of those Ubisoft things come to fruition now. The the pricing is, and I kind of go back and forth on whether I just stick to standard editions or if I go up to deluxe editions. It really depends on the game and what the actual value proposition is. But usually deluxe editions are what, like not like $20 more.
Yeah,
Like the
usually,
next kind of step up is
yeah.
like sometimes it's 10,
Sometimes it's even
often it's
just
20.
yeah, like you said. Sometimes it's just 10 because it includes like armor or something like that.
Yeah. So this is like a pretty steep increase for like the next tier of edition. So there's certainly some like kind of fuck you ness going on from Ubisoft with pricing. It's a licensed game, so maybe looking at the economics of things, maybe they like have to be a little bit more aggressive on pricing things, but like that seems like very, very extreme. And I just feel like that the value proposition isn't there. Like it's just not that much more content. Uh, it's marketed as a season pass, which I
Everything has a
thought is,
yeah season pass.
but like I'm sure it exists, but like I'm trying to think of a single player paid, full price title that has something marketed as a season pass. Because generally that's associated with like free to play games or multiplayer games or whatever, and so like I feel like that's weird. I think it's generally marketed as like a deal, like a DLC or an expansion, and it's like a substantial offering of content that's made available after the game has launched.
Yeah, because then at that point it
It's
wouldn't be a single player game anymore, and it's not a model that I think we've seen yet.
Yeah, so I'm sure there might be some edge cases, but like generally speaking, I feel like this is just kind of like an odd way to market the content that I think is potentially confusing with other ways that publishers approach this. So, um, I wouldn't be surprised if like Ubisoft corporate is just like, we need everything to be a live service game with season passes, and they're like, oh well, we have this single player game, and they're like, okay, well, we just need more season passes, so just call it a season pass. And it's like it just doesn't make any sense to me, and it's kind of dumb. But
Well, I think that
uh,
in just to bring something up with that point you're saying, I think Ubisoft is the only one making this because I would say Skull and Bones is also single player, but they have season passes, so you could earn different
that's
boats
no
and stuff
that's
like
what
that.
that's supposed to be a multiplayer game.
Yeah, but is it really multiplayer? Like you're just going around on a boat kind of
I don't
thing.
know. Yeah.
Uh,
So I don't know. It's so not surprised. To me, it's a question of, is this the calm before the storm of like all the other annoying things we're going to learn about the game, um, closer to launch and after it launches. So it's definitely, just because it's Ubisoft, like it's always wait and see. Uh, Although this game does look like it's pretty cool, but
yeah,
I don't know if it's going to be.
it looks
It's like
fun.
definitely not so good that I'm going to like deal with all this Ubisoft nonsense at on day one.
Yeah, the thing is too, it is like a bit of a I don't want to say down year because we don't know what the second half of 2024 entails in terms of video games like that we're super looking forward to. But there aren't a lot of standout titles that kind of come to mind right now, especially for the second half. Even though we have had a good, I believe, first quarter with Final Fantasy, the Like a Dragon, Ronin, and all that stuff. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And we do know that the video game industry, they do like to follow trends, whether they're good or bad. So hopefully this isn't a trend that they do follow along, because I think it takes a lot away from the gamers and just the enjoyment when you add these little caveats to anything, to any game. So hopefully this is not a lesson that gets learned by everybody. All right, next big thing, which I think Nick will be super excited to hear me talk about it.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I've been waiting. I've been waiting 10 years for this.
yeah, it's Destiny. Ah, there you go. Destiny is actually about to be 11 years old. So Destiny 2, the final shape.
Dude, I don't play the game. Like, give me. I was roughly, I was in the right ballpark.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right. 10 years. Almost, yeah. Destiny 2. Destiny 2, the final shape. Bungie did a vid doc of some information for the final shape. They were teasing some information for Into the Light, which is a mid-season kind of update because the last season started, I believe, in November. And it's been going on, so it's like the longest season because they had to delay the new expansion that they were offering. So Into the Light, let me get that out of the way, is a free content that's available out now. It includes a horde mode, which is very, very fun. I think a lot of people have been requesting it for a while. I think they did a great job in implementing it into the game, and it's really fun. So kudos to them on that, and kudos to them for making it free and at least something to hold us over for another couple months before we wait for the next big expansion. And then it also brings back a lot of iconic weapons, which a lot of people have missed, which is, happens quite often in these type of games because they are live service games. A lot of people get FOMO because if you're not there during a season or you're not able to play the game during that time, there's a lot of stuff that you miss, and that kind of sucks when you can't get back. So it's good that they bring back a lot of those weapons. Now, to talk about Into the final shape, which is going to be the next big expansion that we'll be releasing in June, they showed a vid doc which kind of shows new powers for your class where you'll be able to do a lot of things. For those that don't play Destiny, you have your different subclasses like Arc, Solar, Void, Strand, and Stasis, but you can't really combine that with each other. So you can't do solar stuff on Void, you can't do Strand stuff on Arc and stuff like that. So the stuff that they showed off, and I give kudos again to Bungie for doing this, because I think anytime they show anything cinematic or just with action, what you could do, and they are one of the top studios in terms of gunplay. They make the guns in their games feel really good. You can go back to Halo and all that stuff. It just looks amazing. We'll link up the trailer into the show notes so you guys can check it out if you haven't. We'll also link up the Outlaws trailer, just going back to that. But it looks really amazing. I'm super excited. I know a lot of people, especially on the Discord, haven't been playing a lot of Destiny, but the free Into the Light content kind of got them back into it. And for those that have seen the final shape trailer, that also kind of brought them back, and they're super excited, which they should be. It's new content that's going to kind of wrap up the story. And then in terms of wrapping up the story, because the big expansion that's coming out, there are reports that Destiny 3 is being worked on, which since we said earlier, Destiny 1 really only was active for 4 years. I mean, it's still active. You can still get back on and play it. Then Destiny 2 released 4 years after that in 2014. So 2010 Destiny 1, 2014 Destiny 2. We're about to be... Actually, my math is wrong. Oh, no, it is right. We're about to be 10 years of Destiny 2. 11 years of Destiny 2. So they have been rumbling, kind of old engine, kind of changed the whole system. So I'm excited to hear those kind of words. Also, this will kind of move everybody into trying Destiny. So if Destiny 3 comes out, I can hopefully get Nick to kind of come over and start from the beginning. Because I think that's the main obstacle that has been pushing you away. That it's like watching a movie 2 hours in. Makes no sense kind of thing. You're not enjoying it as much as me, who has been watching the movie since the beginning.
Correct.
Does that
every time I've tried multiple times, but it's just like it's so impossible to like get into the current, what's currently happening in the game.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think Destiny is one of the biggest games like that it is hard to get in. I can say like World of Warcraft. Like I don't want to play that because I know like there's so much shit that I don't have that I would need that to make at least a game for me fun, or just to be able to feel like I'm doing things with people in the game. And we have had this discussion as well for Final Fantasy 14, which that in itself is a lot to take in. But
it's also not easy. So there was something specifically about Destiny that just I couldn't figure it out. Whereas with Final Fantasy 14, it's a pretty bumpy ride in the beginning, and there's a lot to digest. But I was having a good time, and that was all I needed just to like work through it. For the joke is something like, oh yeah, you gotta play it for 40 hours before it gets good. So, and I think that's unfortunately true. true with that game. But 600, 700 hours later,
It got good.
that was a good a good investment of 40 hours to enjoy something that lasted way longer than that.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. I think I know you appreciate the things that Destiny does good, but especially with the amount of time.
I know I give you shit all the time, but like I want to enjoy the game, and I've said before, like, I'm interested in what Bungie does next because I feel like they've just had so much like tech debt and other challenges with building a live service game because they kind of did they've been doing this for a long time, and I'd argue if you give them a blank sheet of paper to build a new live service game, like with all new infrastructure, they'd probably be one of the best teams out there to do that, and that's why Sony bought them.
We'll see with Marathon next year or whenever that.
Yeah, but that being said, like I don't know how Marathon's shaping up, but I still would place that faith in them to do something cool. So, and yeah, I think we've talked about before about what's next for Destiny 2 after this final expansion. I don't follow Destiny as much as you do, so it's interesting to hear that Destiny 3 seems like it's next, meaning that they're not fully, migrating the entire team to Marathon. They're going to try to parallel path at least 2 titles. And to me, it's like I draw parallels to Final Fantasy 14, where the prior expansion there was Endwalker. That was meant to be like the end, but
now you got more.
Two years later, there's Dawn Trail, or was it 2 years or 3 years? I can't remember, but a bit longer. Dawn Trail, is coming out, and I think they were able to spin it as like, oh well, it's just like the heroes and they're going on vacation, and like there was some way to create another expansion. I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but I think that's kind of how it's being pitched. So that's kind of interesting. So it seems like Destiny, is this actually the last expansion for Destiny 2? I guess that's the question.
I mean, in my opinion, I think it is the last expansion. They do have an outlook to do 3 episodes in a year, which would be like mini seasons or whatever, refreshes. They're calling them episodes now instead of seasons. So I think at least it's a year or two. I would say it's at least 2 years away before they do something like 3. And honestly, with these type of games, live service games, I think it would be beneficial to them because the users that you have right now are like it's not going to max. Like you said, they're not going to add more people just because you release an expansion. All the people that are buying the expansions and stuff like that is everybody who's been playing Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 since it released. So to kind of jump off the train, get in a new stop, pick up more people in terms of Destiny 3, I think it would work out best for them because 1, they'll keep everybody who has been playing Destiny 2, and 2, they'll get new people that will be invested in Destiny 3 because it'll be a reset. Everybody will start from zero with grinding and getting new weapons, new armor, the story and all that stuff. So it would be hard to do, but I think in this concept it would work better for them. And maybe it is the kick that they need because it has kind of been stagnant. Not that the seasons haven't been enjoyable, but you do need like that bit of a refresh every now and then. And it's not as easy to do as Fortnite, where you can kind of change everything because the assets aren't as big as they are in Destiny. So it'll be interesting. But the hype train is still there. I'm excited for the final shape when that releases, and everybody I know that likes Destiny is super excited as well. So can't wait to see that.
I'm anticipating a thriving Discord channel.
There you go, everybody. Everybody's coming back, baby.
Yeah, the boys are back.
All right, so hopefully let us know what you guys think about that if you're super excited for Destiny. Like you said, I think our Discord channel will be super excited too. We're a little back. We're a little back. But we want that full John Wick.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah. All right. And then the last thing we want to talk about is BAFTAs. we like to talk about any type of game award stuff that gets announced, just because we like to kind of see if we agree with their choices. But the BAFTAs were over this weekend. The main thing was that they announced Baldur's Gate 3 won the Game of the Year, and that means that they officially swept like all the major game awards, the Golden Joysticks, the Game Awards, the BAFTAs, the Dice Awards, and I forget the last one, but whatever. They basically have been the only game to have swept that. The other ones that came close were God of War, that got beat out by Vampire Survivors. No, that was Elden Ring. Anyways, God of War, Elden Ring.
The what remains of Edith?
Yeah,
Edith or whatever.
Edith Finch. Yeah. So basically, the only other three that came closer were God of War, Elden Ring, and The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. They weren't able to sweep, but Baldur's Gate has. Very interesting stuff. I think it's a great game. I just have no desire to play it, and I know you loved it. I know a lot of people love it.
You're so stupid.
Don't say that.
Play the damn game.
I might down the road. It's still, I have no inkling. This doesn't mean anything to me.
I love this because it proves that I was right.
How does it prove you were right?
It was because when we're talking about Game of the Year, and I'm just like, it's Baldur's Gate 3 by a fucking mile. It's like not even close.
All right, you know what?
If it doesn't win, if like fucking Zelda wins, it's like a conspiracy theory. Like,
this is why you can't take your own advice, because remember when I said you should play It Takes Two because it won Game of the Year, and you're like, no, that sucks. That sucks. I don't want to play that. That sucks. So this is the same thing. So that's why you can't push that shit on me, because it's the same thing.
I can't. No, but it Takes Two won in a bullshit year. So this is a real year with real competition, and in spite of that competition, the game is just so much better.
I mean, I'll give you that.
And the fact that it swept everything. Like, how many other awards did... I think It Takes Two won a lot of awards, but I'm sure it didn't win...
It didn't sweep like this.
It didn't sweep like this, like not even close.
No. I give you shit, but...
I've said this multiple times, but like, I don't like these games. Like, I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons guy. I'm not a... that type of like RPG, like Divinity, Original Sin, and I don't really like those games. And in spite of that, I played this for an insane amount of time.
No.
So I think you like it. It's got a lot of classic Hugo characteristics. There's
it's in there. It's probably
looting.
It's probably something I'll
funny
pick up.
dialogue.
It's probably something I'll pick up in like a year and be like, oh, Nick was right, but I won't tell him he was right, because that would get to his head and he won't shut up about it.
I often think about, like, I'm like, fuck, I just want to like do another run, but like I have I can't even play like anything these days. So
I was gonna say, you don't have time. You don't have time. In the way we've been busy, it's like we can only do one run of a game. We can't go back and do shit. But very interesting. They won the best game. Amongst others, Alan Wake, obviously, was a big one. They won Artistic Achievement, Audio Achievement, so that was pretty good. Legend of Zelda won for Technical Achievement. The Performer in a Leading Role, surprisingly, Najee Jeter as Miles Morales won for Marvel Spider-Man. And then Performer Supporting Role, Andrew Wincott as Raphael from Baldur's Gate 3 won. I found that the Performer in a Leading Role very surprising, because I know during the Game Awards, when we live stream and stuff, we had different opinions. I thought, I forget the guy's name, but the guy who played... Oh, Look at Boba. The guy who played Clive from Final Fantasy 16 was going to win, because I think he did a great job. But you thought that the guy from Baldur's Gate, the one who won, you thought he was going to win.
I actually don't remember. I think I wanted him to win for sure, because his character is incredible. I think I thought the Final Fantasy guy was going to win.
Oh, okay. So we both thought the
What's
same.
his name? It's like Ben Starr. I think it's Ben.
Ben Starr.
Okay.
It escaped me, but yeah, I think we both thought that the whole Final Fantasy thing, they did such a great job mocapping all that stuff, and how mature the game was. So that was like the big surprise. Not that Najee Jeter as Miles Morales was bad. I thought they were good as well. I just thought that those were better performances. Um, Not a lot of mention, actually no mention at all for Resident Evil 4. That didn't win anything. I think it's a little bit of bias because it's a
I feel,
re-release.
yeah, they're remake haters. Like they're not. That's not surprising to me.
People need to let that go. Remakes are good as long as they add to the game that was the original. So
I agree.
yeah,
I love Zelda winning technical achievement
they had to give it
because
something.
well, no. Like I think it genuinely is, but I think it's just because the Switch hardware is so shitty. I think they're like, well, given how shitty this hardware is in today's terms, the
Oh,
fact that they were able to build this game on this platform is like a fucking miracle. So so I think it's right. Like I just think it's funny that it's really more because of like how bad the hardware is.
okay. I thought it was more because of what you could do in the game with like connecting everything and all that shit and making
Well,
and all the
it is, but
building.
like that's no, it's absolutely because of all that stuff. But because they were able to do that on the Switch
You know
with
what?
like very yeah, like
Uh,
because you can have you played that game? I don't even
no,
no okay.
I haven't touched my
I
Switch
mean
in like a year and a half.
the game. I mean the game is insane. It's like it's absolutely enormous,
Yeah.
and like all the stuff that you can do with it. Like it's so it is like genuinely impressive. But I find that funny. So it's almost like they. I don't want to say like rigged, but it's like kind of this like
You
unfair
don't want to say
advantage.
rigged?
It's like this unfair because like you don't have those constraints with like a PC game, right? But so I don't know. It's this is kind. I thought it was kind of funny. I think it's well deserved, but kind of this like again situation because of like how old the hardware is that I think
Well,
helped them get the win.
you know what? Switch 2 making a comeback. We'll see how that bad boy performs with the most technical game.
Yeah, PS4 graphics. Here we come.
Yeah, they look good. I have no problem with
Yeah.
that. All right, so that's all the news that we wanted to talk about this week. We're going to move on to some closing thoughts. I'll start off. Main big thing, I played the Stellar Blade demo. I enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as you did. I think it felt a little bit janky to me. I think it might be because I am fatigued from playing a lot of Souls-like games, these type of games, these action games with parry and combat and stuff like that. Playing a lot of Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, the Neo games, and all that stuff. I think it has kind of drained me in a sense, or it might just be me kind of trying to be like, oh, like my scale of is this Soulsborne enough or is it not? So far it's in the not category. Not that it's a bad game, but it didn't click with me as much. And also it was a demo, so we'll see. I'll probably buy it eventually, but I don't think the hype is there anymore that I had from like when I heard about it and seeing it in action. Your thoughts on the demo? Because I know you have some thoughts on that.
I think yeah, I think it's a day one purchase for me. I really enjoyed it. There's definitely some like questionable areas of the demo, like some of the swimming stuff, and so I think there's some like PS2 era kind of just like design things with certain elements of the game, but um, other than that, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, the game was way more like I think it's way more Soulsborne like than I expected it to be from a combat perspective. I think a lot of people are drawing comparisons to Sekiro. Like if you had to pick one of the From Software games, like it's probably Sekiro that you would go with.
No.
Uh, yeah, well, no, I'm saying if you have to pick one, it's more like Sekiro than Demon Souls or something like that.
The reason I say
The
no to
reason
that is
being,
because you didn't even play Sekiro that much because you hated the counter
no,
parry.
no, I played it. I played it a lot. Like I almost beat the game. I just never beat it.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought
Yeah, no, I
you
played it.
hated
I
it
played
because
it.
of the parry system.
Well, I think that's why I didn't beat it. Like I just kind of got like turned off by the the parry system basically, and I think that's a good reason why I didn't like what's the other Team Ninja one that just came out somewhat
Uh,
recently? You completed it, so I would
Wulong.
expect you to. Yeah,
Wulong.
well, yeah.
It took me a
Uh, yeah. So generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of those systems. Uh, so like I'm wondering what's going on. Like, is it because it's janky, or it could be because it's janky, and that's like helpful for me in some way. I think they're just designing it in a way for the game to be a little bit more like casual and approachable. So to me, it's like I feel like the input windows and some of the like tells for key attacks. I think it's, I don't know, maybe it's just like easier for me for whatever reason, but I think it's because they're specifically designing it to be like easier than Sekiro or something like that. But I'm not exactly sure. But the net effect is, I had a good time with it. I was able to beat the demo, and I beat the other. I think they have like another, like, I don't know if it's called like boss mode or whatever, but like you just play another big boss. Yeah, had a good time. I really enjoyed the music. It was very much like near vibes, which was pretty cool. Uh, I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I like
So
the world building. I think that's pretty fun. But yeah, not
lots of
a
shooting, and I think the game could evolve to where it's not so parry heavy. Like there's a lot of flexibility. Like when you play the boss mode, like there's like you get like guns and you're shooting, and I think you can lean into like dodging as more of like an option.
yeah. There's
Uh,
definitely like
yeah,
even though it was I would say a short demo, I think it was enough where it's like I can see how expansive the abilities and everything you could do kind of get. So it
yeah,
does seem enjoyable. It might not be a day one purchase, but it is I think it'll still be a purchase for me, and I'll enjoy the heck out of it anyways.
yeah.
Next closing thought is Fallout TV series. I started watching that right now. I'm in the middle of episode 3. I'm really liking it.
I'm ahead of you
Yeah,
in
for
a TV
once. Yeah,
series.
for once.
I don't think that's ever happened.
It's because I started watching Daredevil for some reason. I kind of missed the crazy early Marvel action, and because of the Daredevil getting the born
Yeah,
again. Yeah, but Fallout TV series, I think they did a great job. I'm glad that it does feel like the games. And I don't know if whoever our viewers are and listeners who are familiar with the game, I think that's a good thing. But not too much like the game where if you never played the game, you don't get it. I think it's just the dark humor is there, the world is there. I think that it's fun enough, and it's its own different video game adaptation. So obviously we've had a lot of bangers in terms of adaptations that we've had for video games recently. The most prominent one being The Last of Us, but obviously that the old formula was like, hey, let's copy each other when we adapt video games into live action, and that didn't work. So I know now, like the way that they are making them, it's its own thing. It'll be for their own people, and I think it works really well. So kudos to them, to Amazon for doing something right because they usually don't. This kind of gives me hope for their. Are they the ones who's making God of War, and who's making
it's
Horizon?
the it's Amazon.
Amazon's making God of War.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
this gives me hope for God of War. So happy for that. What do you think so
yeah.
far of the show?
I'm enjoying it. I think it's a good adaptation. I think it strikes a good balance of being true to the source, but also making it interesting and engaging to someone who's not familiar with the source material at all. So, um, yeah, no, I think it's great. It's not like The Last of Us, like unbelievable level of quality, but it's like it's close. I feel so. I think it does. I think it's yet another feather in the cap of game adaptations to TV and film. Um, yeah, and I'm like halfway through it.
Looks like
Um,
Boba
did
agrees.
did you hear that?
Yeah.
No, that's Louis actually.
Well,
He just yawned.
Louis
Yeah,
agrees. I don't know. I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
tell.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think I'm on episode 4, so I got 4 more episodes to go.
All right. And anything that has Walter Goggins in it is like good. So
Goggins is great.
shout out to Goggins.
Lucy's great. I don't know how I feel about this like Maximus storyline.
Yeah, so far I feel like
like
he's the weakest storyline.
yeah, it's the weakest storyline, and I'm optimistic it's gonna become cool, but right now it's just kind of this like awkward guy. Like I don't know. So, but that's probably my least favorite storyline. But yeah, everything's pretty good.
Yeah, so shout outs to good video game adaptations. And then the last thing I want to talk about is I Think You Should Leave. And we both had a good time at this. Shout outs to Eddie Z, our boy, who wound up getting tickets for us through this annoying ticket getting thing. We were able to watch the I Think You Should Leave live special. Nick and I are big fans of I Think You Should Leave. We love the humor, we love the dumbness of it. And we quote it all the time. We each have our favorite skits. If you're not familiar with it, it's a show on Netflix. It's a lot of skits, but think of it as like rejected SNL skits because they're too crazy, but they work and they're funny and they grow on you. So we were able to check that out with Tim Robinson. I keep thinking Tim Anderson, the baseball player, but Tim Robinson. He's doing a tour right now. I don't know what city he's in, but the first stop was New York, and he had awesome guests. We were able to see Paul Rudd. We were able to see Seth Meyers, Patty. What's her name?
I'm on a first name basis with her.
Yeah,
This is Patty.
Yeah, Patty. For those that watch the show,
But one of my favorite actresses in the show.
yeah, so really enjoyable time. It was just mostly us watching like kind of skits that didn't make it into
Tables.
skits that didn't make it into the full show because of timing, the comedy wasn't there or whatever. But I think they were still pretty hilarious. That I would have enjoyed them on the show, so that was pretty funny. But it was good vibes, good times were had. Anything you want to add to that?
I'm trying to remember what's the line where she's like, if Eddie Munster came to your farm and started kicking your corn, you'd probably be pretty upset about that. I don't know, it's something like that. But it's anything about Eddie Munster and kicking corn and tables being dirty. Like
I don't think you need to bring that into the show because nobody's gonna get it. That's the
nobody's listening. Nobody's listening right now.
That's the funniest part about this podcast, that we keep throwing out I Think You Should Leave stuff, and nobody has ever commented like, "Oh, I love your I Think You Should Leave" when you guys do that dumb shit. But yeah.
You're not going to talk about the delicious deviled eggs and meatballs that we had before?
Yeah. If you're ever on the Upper West Side, go check out the Owl's Tail. They have some awesome meatballs, some awesome deviled eggs, and some awesome cocktails. I had like a tiki cocktail.
I highly recommend the Curious George.
Yeah, so check that out.
Very good.
Look at that. We could actually become some influencers, some food. Anyways, good spot. Owl's Tail, Upper West Side. Look it up if you're in New York City and you've never been. But yeah. Oh, thanks for reminding me of that. You got anything that I haven't done? Closing thoughts? That's actually the most closing thoughts in a while that we've kind of had thoughts on same thoughts.
It's just so synced.
Yeah.
I only have a couple of Final Fantasy things, so I'm still working through Rebirth. I think I'm almost done with Cosmo Canyon. I don't really know what that means. Like I still have quite a bit more, but I'm really enjoying it. I just haven't had a ton of game time in these last few weeks. But I'm loving the game so far. It's my game of the year. As someone who was also really enjoying Infinite Wealth. But there's that, and then I think they just announced the Final Fantasy 14 benchmark.
Yeah, for Dawn Trail.
For Dawn Trail. So I might just download that and see what it's all about. I think the big thing is the graphical update, which I don't know if it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like nice, but nothing. I don't think it's gonna be like game changing. But I just kind of want to see what it looks like. I've actually always enjoyed, the art style is great. There's just like an infinite number of assets in the game, but
Yeah, it's insane.
The graphics are, they are dated, even though the game like still looks nice. So I think it'll be just curious to see what it looks like with the new stuff. So
And that's releasing
so
in July, right?
July, yeah.
No.
I think it's July 2nd, maybe. I can't remember.
Something to look forward to. I think we're supposed to be playing that together. I don't know.
We were supposed to be playing that starting in April. Is it April? It is. So yeah, we're supposed to be playing it now.
Oh wait. Also, the graphical update is for July. The Dawn Trail comes out this month.
Wait, what?
What are you saying?
No, the what? No, the actual game comes out in July, right?
Yeah, the Dawn Trail.
Yeah, Dawn Trail. The benchmark is out today. Like just the thing to run it on your PC.
Yeah, but I'm saying like we're supposed when Dawn Trail comes out, we had an agreement that we were gonna play that together, right? That's what I mean.
No. The agreement was we would be playing it now
Oh, to be ready for July.
to be ready for when. Yeah, because like, you just don't go right into Dawn Trail. Like you need to fucking you have like 300 hours of game that you need to get through.
That's true. Now that I realize it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I just said like, oh yeah, it comes out in Q3. We got to start playing in Q2. Like that was the.
All right, so we might not hit the April
not.
deadline.
I wasn't like, oh, benchmark's out. We got to play the game.
All right, we might not hit the April deadline then, anyways, because you're busy, I'm busy. We'll try to play it. we'll try to play it before it comes out. You're right. I have like 4 expansions that I need to go through before I get.
And I think you played it. You played it quite a bit, right?
Yeah,
so I think so I think you're getting into the good stuff now. So
it just took me 100 hours to get to good stuff. No, but
I fucking told you. I fucking told you. You the completionist in you.
I was
just wasted so much of your time.
I did
trying
I was trying to get this ultimate weapon.
You're doing all this dumb shit. You're doing all this dumb shit that they like invalidate like as soon as the next expansion starts.
Yeah,
it happens.
It's how I am. It's how I am.
Hey, but you're able to sleep at night, so there's that.
That's true. That's true. That's when I had free time. I don't have as much free time anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So that does it. It's great to be back. Thanks everybody for listening. Make sure you guys check out our website pressingbuttons.gg so you can get the link to our Discord where we're hanging in there all the time, and we have a great growing community. And you can get links to all our other channels as well. We'll see you guys for next week's episode. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick later.